This episode is intended for mature audiences only. Listener discretion is advised. Meow, 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 meow.
Órale, muchachos and muchachas. This is Jimmy Stewart. ¿Qué onda, wey? We have fun today. Órale, ese.
Welcome, kittens and cats. I'm Natalie.
And I'm Ricky. I'm back.
And we're on this frequency. On this week's episode, we'll be talking with actor and our friend Jimmy Stewart, who happens to be DJ Severe's older brother. We're going to be talking about our experiences with magic mushrooms. But first, our moment of laughter from Jim Gaffigan.
Probably the healthiest thing I do is I take vitamins and I put them in a drawer. Eventually, I do take them and throw them out. When I was a kid, I took Flintstones vitamins because I watched the TV show The Flintstones. I'd probably take vitamins now if they had, I don't know, Law and Order vitamins. Oh, I got one of those hot assistant DAs. Here's a Sam Waterston. It's always bitter, but filled with righteous indignation. Dun, dun. I think it's strange that there are stores that just sell vitamins, you know, like GNC and Vitamin Shoppy. You know what I mean? Shoppy. What is with the Old English spelling? Is this where Robin Hood got his ginkgo? Worst British accent ever. Vitamins, you know, they may be expensive, but at least there's no proof they work.
It's so true.
There's vitamins, and then there's herbal supplements, which are not FDA approved. And to put that in perspective, the Twinkie is. I don't even know who herbal supplements are for. You know, it's like, hey, if you're not wasting enough money on vitamins that don't work, you should check out this stuff that's kind of the horoscope of vitamins.
Oh my God, this is great.
That's funny.
Oh, that was so good. I went through a phase where I was consistently going to like the Vitamin Shoppy or the GNC.
Right.
And it was when like Instagram was just on and popping. And do you guys remember the Fit Tea? Tell me you guys remember the Fit Tea. Mm-hmm. So I go in there one time like, so what's up with this Fit Tea? Like, they're like, dude, it's just green tea. Just go to Sprouts.
Get some
cheaper. And I was like, oh, you know what? Thanks. I'm glad that you told me that because everyone was buying it. Mm-hmm. And now they just all get like some fucking plastic surgery and shit. But that's a story for another day.
I like when you pull your coattail and save you money.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Please, hook me up.
Yeah. Like, don't bullshit me here.
Right.
You know? That was great.
I loved it.
Yeah. So that was Vitamins by Jim Gaffigan. You can find that clip on his comedy special, Mr. Universe. Meow, 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 meow.
Also known as Ricky's favorite comedian at this point.
I love Jim.
Consistent.
He is, yes. I know I'm always going to get a laugh. So 3 years ago for New Year's, my brother hit me up about doing mushrooms to bring in the new year. I'd never taken magic mushrooms, and I was a bit curious and in a good mental state that supported that curiosity, so I decided to agree. So this was all scheduled to go down at my mom's house, and so I called my brother and I said, Mike, aren't you going to tell my mom? He assured me that she'll be asleep by the time anything goes down, and I insisted, no. What if she wakes up and we're walking around completely stoned? She'll freak out. So my brother folds, and he tells my mom that we're all doing mushrooms, Natalie included, on New Year's, and that she should do them too.
You told your mom?
Yeah. So my mom immediately calls me in a panic to tell me everything she didn't want to tell my brother about not wanting us to do mushrooms. I calmed her down, and I tell her that to have an open mind about it. And then I forward her a short documentary on YouTube where a young man gets his elderly mother to do mushrooms and then documents her experience. My mom watched the video, and on New Year's, she had some mushrooms with us. It was an interesting and positive experience, to say the least. And so, more recently, leave it to my brother again to serve up some mushrooms, except this time he served me mushrooms with a documentary on Netflix called Fantastic Fungi. fungi. I don't know how you say it.
Fungi.
Fungi. So I took a little learning trip about the wonderful world of mushrooms. That was a great night.
Honestly, that fantastic fungi documentary, I've seen it at least 4 times already.
So we
I
say
love
fungi,
it.
but the people on the documentary say fungi, which is weird.
Which is wrong.
You want to call your people up because it's your people doing this documentary.
Okay, I'll call them up and say, hey, you idiots, stop taking mushrooms, and maybe you'll figure out how to pronounce fungi.
Yeah, but maybe they say fungi or fungi because fungi's fun to say. So,
I did think that it was a different
fungi.
Yeah, just a play on words.
a different way to say it.
Yeah,
I was like, okay, what's happening here right now? So
Maybe it's like a tomato thing.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Sorry, damn it.
Lord.
So, well, that was my first time taking mushrooms that 3 years ago. Jimmy, do you take mushrooms?
I have. Yeah, I have.
Okay.
I'm cool with mushrooms. Mushrooms are positive.
Yeah.
You got to be with positive people, the right environment. The groove's got to be straight. You can't just grab some. Hey, I'm going to take some mushrooms and go home and sit in the room. Nah.
Yeah.
You got to build the environment right for it.
Yeah, I agree.
that's interesting because I have friends who like you say, whoever they're around, or they'll say, let's go out. I don't know that I could do mushrooms out in public places. Because I'm always, before I did
paranoia?
mushrooms, no, not even that. Before I did mushrooms, I thought a lot of people describe some really out of the world experiences.
Yeah.
Like my mom, she was like, dude, I felt like I was flying. So I always imagine, I overthink things, and I'm like, oh, what if I'm in a tall building and I think
Why
I can
didn't you
fly
get
and
your
I throw
mom in
myself.
here to do the podcast with us?
My mom, believe me, I
that
thought
would've
about
been
that.
good.
I thought about that, but my mom would freak out about just speaking English, period. She'd
Well,
be like,
that-
I don't want to speak English.
Well, it's really taboo still, I think.
It
For
is.
that generation, it's really taboo to do any kind of,
Herbs. I don't
Spices.
disagree with that.
Podcast goals.
Yeah.
Yeah, but their generation, they did acid and heroin and all that crazy ass left field
was true.
stuff.
And
I mean,
peyote.
whoa. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
You taking me to another level talking to that. Mushrooms, I consider that in that safe zone still. You know, weed,
I agree.
Because it's natural. Well, I mean, what is it?
Marijuana,
Yeah.
ecstasy.
It's a
I mean,
good,
it is natural.
Well, heroin is natural
It's
too.
from the earth.
yeah, but the cause and effect and everything
And the
that you
process.
see that comes from heroin, and even just I've seen somebody do it, and that just blew my mind. I'm
like watching someone
whoa,
do it blew your mind?
Yes, blew me out of the water.
Why?
It just was dark. It was dark. It just didn't have anything visually appealing to it. And
Wait,
to
how
the-
did they do it?
She had it was 2 girls. I was hanging out. This is in my youth now,
He's like, this,
gonna get some stories and shit. But I was in a situation where we were hanging out. We were kind of partying, socializing, little groove going on. And then one of the girls has a friend that comes over, and she's a little obscure, a little hippie-ish chick type, but maybe a little grunge hippie more so than like just hippie.
Yeah.
And so, I kind of picked up on that energy right away and stuff, but I'm cool. They're doing their thing, and I'm over here doing mine. And so next thing I know, the girl unveils a piece of aluminum foil, and it's folded into 4 squares, and she opens up the 4 squares. And then they proceed to hold the aluminum foil, and they light the bottom of the aluminum foil with a lighter.
Okay.
They don't burn it; they just get it hot.
They get it hot.
And as it gets heat, this black smoke starts to emuse
Whoa.
from.
It was
the
black smoke?
It was black.
Oh,
It was
wow.
black. So you have the flame on the bottom, which is that crazy color, and it's heat. Then you have the aluminum foil, and then you have this black smoke exuding from it, and they're putting their face above it, and they're absorbing the smoke. through
wow,
their
so they were
nose.
just inhaling it like
Yes.
that?
Yes. And I'm sitting off to the side watching this, and I've never seen it before. It's the first experience I've ever had in that situation. I've been in some environments, where people are partying, but never to
Not like
this
that.
extreme. That's almost as bad as, tying your
Injecting
arm
it.
up, injecting with a needle and cooking it on a spoon. You got to get, whoa, that's a lot for me to be trying to do, right? But it was just an interesting experience. And I thought in my own self personally, the whole makeup of it was such a dark event to go through to get to that I didn't see a positive out of the high.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And so, just from our history of looking and talking about this particular substance, or, it doesn't have a positive spin on the backside of it. And for me personally, seeing it visually,
So
I get it.
that was enough for you to be like, I'm never doing this.
I had never had any desire prior to, and seeing it confirmed it. It's like, nah,
Yeah.
I hadn't heard
Not for
too
me.
many the wrong stories about
Right.
this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I'm
not for
curious,
me.
but I ain't that damn curious.
Yeah, no. I'll
No,
be good.
and it does go back to I don't remember, Natalie, what your experience in particular. I remember you laughing when we did the whole mushroom thing. But going back to settings, right, and who you're with, and making sure that it's a safe
It's a pleasant
space, and that you have like my brother's one of the few people that I actually trust when taking anything I've never taken before. I don't know why, but so I trust him, and so I didn't question anything that was gonna happen, and I had a great interesting experience. I've heard my voice for the first time, like I guess my subconsciousness, and I heard myself talking to myself and really beating myself up for how much I've beat myself up, if that makes any sense. So like I was telling myself, stop beating yourself up. What are you doing? Like, this is you. This is your voice. This is what and I wrote everything down.
Yeah.
I wrote everything. I can go back and look at all my notes of that experience itself. So it was a good one. And I was so worried that I was going to forget everything that happened. Because I dropped a lot of gems on myself. I dropped a lot of important things that I needed to realize.
That's amazing.
So
I
the
like
next
that.
morning I was like, fuck, I don't want to forget this. And I would go back and I would read and write more and do that. And I didn't do it again until probably like almost a year and a half later. Someone gave me some in chocolate.
Ooh.
In chocolate. And I was here in the studio and I was listening to some really, really good music. And then I have a thing with sticky notes and mushrooms. Because in the first experience, I wrote down all my notes on sticky notes.
Yeah.
And I put them all over the table. And here in the studio,
That's right.
I put them on the
That's
door.
right.
Yeah.
Is
You
that why
did.
there's so many sticky notes everywhere?
No, that's actually, I was sober with that.
You sure?
There was a whole other set of sticky notes that were on the door that you have on your side, Bartley. So it was good. And so then recently when I had him with Michael Moda and you guys made me watch that,
Fantastic fun guy.
it was like a whole different. I always go back to my childhood every time I always think a lot about my youth. And I was that night that I stayed the night at your house.
You did.
I watched The Jungle Book and Robin Hood, and I
you?
was singing along, and it was the best times of my life.
I will say, and you'll probably agree that it opens up your mind to just a different perspective or just a different door that you hadn't opened before, right? Mm-hmm. I didn't necessarily have the experience that you had or that your mom had. In fact, I'll speak for Mike, and we had your friend
Peter Lim.
We had Peter there too, which our experience wasn't necessarily as intense as yours and your mom's,
Right.
for whatever reasons. I would say that I got the nausea.
I feel like everybody gets
because
nauseous,
you're
like you always get sick.
yeah. And while you were writing and things like that, Mike had on this, and I can't find it for the life of me. I feel like it was just one of those like one and done videos. It was on YouTube, and it was talking about the human experience and how life just keeps regenerating and we keep living and living on, and there was these scenes on the TV that showed like mandalas, and they just keep growing. I don't know if you know
So
what
he intentionally put that on.
I think he did. I don't know that he had just said like, oh, we're going to watch this while we're on mushrooms, but it was on, and it talked about how just, you say this all the time. What do you say? Nothing ends, everything transforms. I always have a hard time.
Nada se pierde, todo se transforma.
Right?
Yeah, nothing is ever lost. Everything just transforms.
That video to me just
Felt like that.
whoa, wait.
Right.
I heard it, or the way that they were describing life, I was like, oh my God, yes. Yes, this is perfect. And it's funny that we're having this this conversation today because one of my cousins recently passed away and we had his funeral services yesterday. And I just kept thinking, like, I was, and everyone grieves differently and experiences these things in a certain way, right? But I was just so at peace with his passing and just thinking, like, you know what? He's here. He's here with us and he's everywhere.
Energy.
And yeah, the energy doesn't die. We just transform.
It just transitions. It just goes somewhere else.
And I think that the mushrooms really helped, even though I didn't have the experience of seeing myself, like, how you're saying, it opened up my eyes in a different way of just being peaceful and calm and accepting. I think of acceptance of just everything that happens.
So that's what you gained from your experience.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Jimmy? What did you gain from your first experience with mushrooms?
Oh my God. My first experience with mushrooms was phenomenal. Just phenomenal. I was dating a girl named Karen Myers at the time. Karen Myers was my earth chick.
Earth chick.
Yeah, she was real cool.
Can you define an earth chick?
Yeah, I like that. I like that term.
And what I mean by that, just real mellow, very happy, cool with everything on earth. Real chill. Easy go with the flow, but life of the party, great ideas, just good energy, right?
Was she a Cancer?
Scorpio.
Ooh, that's you, Natalie.
No wonder I like her.
Scorpio. October 25th.
Right in the
to this
middle.
day, I know this one. She was a special one.
Oh, Karen.
Because she was Greek. She was real cool. She was down to earth. And what happened was, this when I was in college, she'd come over and buy weed. She came over with a friend who introduced us, and she bought weed. She came over the next day and bought some weed again. And then she came over the third day in a row, and she brought a girlfriend with her. By the third time she came and said, okay, you keep coming back. There's something in this, right? So she and I ended up start hanging out and start dating each other, right? And so Karen was my exposure. She exposed me to mushrooms and she exposed me to ecstasy. And so she explained to us that, you've got to be in the right place. You got to be in a cool environment and you got to be with people you like. She said, otherwise it'll mess your trip up. She said she had done it once with some cool people. And then the next time she just randomly did it with some random people. And it just was off. And she couldn't find her people when she was in on the high. And so she and I took a trip. My best friend John and Paul were going NAU in Flagstaff, Arizona, and we were in Tucson. So we got in the car and said, we're going to take a road trip. So we get on Friday, boom, get in her dad's car. We bounce. We go up to Flag. We got weed, we got mushrooms, we got drink. Man. Everything's cool. John and Paul are Friday night. They're out of class. They got the whole weekend. We go up, boom, we get there. Everything's cool. We sit down. We bust out the mushrooms. And just like you said, when you first take them,
you get nauseous.
You get a little nauseous, right? But the nausea is cool because that tells you got a good batch of mushrooms and now you're getting ready to go on a high. If you don't get nauseated a little bit, I didn't throw up, but I got a little bit.
You always feel like you want to, but it doesn't happen,
right? But it doesn't happen. It means you got a good batch.
Oh,
you
that's
got
a good
good batch of shrooms when it does that to you, right? So she said, don't trip. She said, just hang tight. She said, about 15 minutes it'll go away. She said, let's get outside and get some air because we were in an apartment, right? So we proceed to get out and just start walking. Well, me, John, my friend Dive Bar, we call him Dive Bar, and Karen start out on this walk. And we just keep walking because now we just left the small enclosed environment.
Now you're open.
Where we had the upset stomach, and now we're out in the night air. And it was...
Oh, it's nighttime.
Yeah, and it was one of them beautiful nights when the weather was perfect. It was cold, right? I think it was like early September, right when school had started. So Flagstaff gets cold in the wintertime, but it was still nice at night, right? We had sweaters and shit on.
Flagstaff is beautiful.
And Flagstaff is like Indian country. It's like the up in northern Arizona. The Indians roam the land, and so they have a lot of burial down there. And so the energy of the earth is very spiritual. I don't know if you ever been to Sedona or Flagstaff.
I've been to both.
Okay, so there's something about it, and Ricky, you can relate to this. When you get there, if you're a spiritual person, it grabs you.
Yeah, you feel it.
And you feel it. You just really feel it. And so we're on this trip, right? And John and Paul are two of my best friends, and now I got my girl Karen, who I'm just starting to date, and we're really flowing just as far as life goes. Just good people in the environment, right? We end up walking up this trail. like a dirt hill, and we got stuck on the side of a mountain and couldn't get up. The mountain was clear, but we got kind of stuck where we couldn't get it. And somehow or another, Karen just kept walking.
Karen.
She kept finding a way for us to get through this path, right? So me, John, and Paul are kind of hanging
following
back.
her.
And we get to a point where we sit on the side of the hill and we just sit down and camp. And I'll never forget it as long as I live. Me and Dive are sitting there and we're laying back on the rocks looking up at the sky. And both of us, all of a sudden, the stars just start dancing.
That's perfect.
They just start coming down and moving around us. And he and I are in this moment where the two of us are sharing in this event together. And it's like magical because... I mean, it's like the stars were already cool before, but now they're dancing.
Now they're moving. Yeah.
You know, it just totally next leveled it, right? So that was a continuation of the experience. We got up and we start walking some more. And because northern Arizona is real hilly, it has a lot of hills and peaks and valleys. We end up coming around this edge and managed to make our way to the top of this hill that we had got stuck on the side of the rock. We couldn't figure out a way to get there, but like I said, Karen, I don't know what the hell she was on. She was grooving. I mean, she was just really in her zone. The three guys were kind of following behind her, and wherever she went, we were like her security guards watching and making sure she was safe, but she was leading us.
Yeah.
She led us up to the top of the hill, and we come around this edge of the cove of the rock, and now all of a sudden, this hill just opens up and the sky just becomes bright and the field is forever and it's like Little House on the Prairie with all these straw grains of weed in this field, and Karen's walking through this field and all you see is she's smoking a cigarette, so all you see is the red char of her cigarette and it's zigzagging through these fields, and we're following her with the stars dancing on top of us and Karen with the cigarette and the three guys. It was just a magical, cool experience that you have with people that, like I'm telling you, I've never, ever forgotten. I'm living it right now as I'm saying it to you because it was that cool of experience, and I'll cherish that memory with those people forever.
So, Karen, to be clear, was on mushrooms too.
Yeah, all of us.
I'm going to ask a very personal question here. Because I've read that when two people do mushrooms together, you have like outstanding sex.
Magnificent.
He said magnificent.
Magnificent.
I've read a lot about it. That
Yes.
it's a very it's a very soulful a really good way to connect people. Like if you really want to have a bond with someone, you know, that it's quite powerful.
Yeah, and now and you also see the setup of this. This is me and her dating, and now we've taken a road trip away from home to go visit some friends in college. So that part was already in the energy was in the air. This magnified.
Just took it to another.
Oh, it was cool. Like I said, because we nothing spectacular. We just came back to the apartment and sat down and powwowed for a little while, and the fellas went and did their thing, and then all of a sudden, this
magic,
powerful, romantic night, just passionate, good love making, sensual, hair pulling,
all of the above.
All of the above. Everything that you want to have, and like I said, it's cool. Sometimes you don't have like relationships with people a lot. It doesn't extend and they don't carry, but you have moments. You have moments with people that are forever. And that moment and that night and that time with Karen forever lays in my mind. And I'm hope somewhere in her life that if she ever has a talk about it, she feels the same way that I do about it.
I'm sure.
Real cool.
We'll
real
find
cool.
Karen.
Karen,
We'll
where
find
are you?
her and bring her.
Karen Myers, where are you at? I'm single now. Shit. I'm long single now, baby.
I want to go back to the little prairie. And
That sounded amazing.
yeah, heck yeah. And that's definitely an experience that I'm looking forward to in the future as far as like having doing mushrooms out in nature. I've been telling Mike since the last time that we did, or that first time that we did mushrooms, that I want to go to Joshua Tree and do mushrooms there. So
See, but I'm the person that always thinks like if I go out and do it in nature, some panther or some puma's gonna come out and attack me because I'm like, oh, look at the kitty.
I get that, but like
Yeah.
I said, it seems like when we went outside, it just opened everything up. I mean, we never managed to go back inside until like 2 or 3 hours later. The whole trip was just outside, and then, like I said, man, when you get Mother Nature jumping in,
That's a whole different element. That's when you get Mother Nature involved in anything, that's magical in itself, I think. But I mean, I'm gonna try and Google. Like, I wonder if there's anything like
Don't Google.
man gets mauled
No.
from bear
No.
while on mushrooms.
who the hell's driving to that part of the
I
forest?
listen. I imagine that doesn't happen because one's energy in that state would be non-threatening to an animal.
Yeah,
It'd be
I
non-threatening.
like to think so. You're
Um,
just chilling. You're vibing.
Yeah, Bartley, what's been your experience with mushrooms?
0.
Bartley, you want to do mushrooms with us?
I don't know. I've never
It's
done
so,
mushrooms.
It's so funny. I started to grab some yesterday. I swear before God, I started to grab some. They were just sitting right
The
there in
mushrooms?
front of me. Yes.
Should have brought them.
Yes, the guy had
That way you
like-
could have given
he
some to
had
Bartley with those
2
tacos.
big bags in the back, and then he had these big, thick stem mushrooms called sticky dicks. And that's exactly what they called. They were
sorry.
called
I'm not putting sticky dicks in my mouth, bro.
I got you, Bartley. I got you the whole gig and everything. But, I guess it was just because of the shape of the way the mushrooms grew. They kind of like were stubby.
Yeah, they
I
look
think
like sticky
stubby
dicks.
dicks. Excuse me,
Oh,
stubby
stubby
dicks.
dicks.
Stubby dicks.
Definitely
Stubby
not putting
dicks.
stubby dicks in my mouth.
Once again, I wasn't thinking about buying them for you
Listen,
or I when I was thinking about
Bartley,
getting them.
but what if it's gonna give you a great sexual experience with your wife? What if it's gonna be something magical, something life altering for the two of you?
I mean, there's no guarantee on that, though.
The only thing I'll tell you about that, pertaining to the intimacy part,
Yes.
both people have to be into it,
Yes.
and both people have to dig each other.
Yeah.
If you don't dig the person that you're doing it with, it's not going to work.
Yeah,
And
my wife doesn't like me, so maybe.
Right.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough. And here, I'll extend on this. The Karen thing. Okay, so let's extend. Let's go 3 weeks, 4 weeks later after the mushroom experience. Now we're 4 weeks later. Remember, I told you Karen is my introducer to drugs, right? So now we get ecstasy.
Okay.
She gets ecstasy.
nervous.
Right. And somewhere in the 3 week process, 2 week process, I fucked up and did something. She was pissed
Jimmy.
at me.
She was mad at you.
She was mad at me for some reason. I can't pinpoint. I still to this day cannot remember why she was mad at me.
We're gonna find her and ask her.
But it was something that I did that irritated her. It just, you know how you get, not that you don't like you, but
Yeah.
you just irritate the hell out of me right now. And I really don't want to be around you right now. But we had this ecstasy plan with our friends Andy and Sherry. We had already had this date.
It was already
pre-planned
gonna
out.
happen.
It was already set up.
No going
Andy
back now.
had to get the day off from work. Sherry had to get the day off from work. We had to pre-plan this fucking day to do these ecstasy, right? Me and Karen are not flowing at all.
No.
You're not flowing at all, right? So we get there and we try and pacify it and try and do it, and we do the ecstasy, and
Now, was this your first time doing
it's
ecstasy?
my first time doing ecstasy.
Got it, but not her first time.
I think she may have done it before, and I think Andy may have done it before, but I think it was me and Sherry's first time doing
okay.
it, right? And Andy and Sherry live together, boyfriend and girlfriend. They're tight, they're cool. Me and Karen are supposed to be the other couple, tight and cool, right?
Right.
Yeah, we ain't flowing, right? It's not flowing. We take the ecstasy in the house, and it's just not flowing. And I'm like, okay, well, the mushrooms got us out. Let's get the hell out of the house. So we leave and go to the Arizona Spring Fling at the University of Arizona on April 1st through the 7th. They have a spring fling, which is a carnival where all the fraternities and sororities put up booths and earn money for their charities, and you play games and carnivals and popcorn and all this fun stuff you can take your family to do, right? Everybody goes to it, all the students and all the local people in Tucson, right? So we get to the spring fling entrance. We're sliding up there, and all of a sudden, I start to get this feeling on me. All of a sudden, I'm walking real smooth. I mean, I'm gliding down the walkway. I mean, I'm seeing people, and I'm like, hello, how are you? I mean, I'm just like on one.
Really?
Right? So we get to the gate. And as soon as we get to the gate, there's this girl that I had been talking to. She's a cheerleader at the U of A, right? And I had been hollering at her, right? Me and Karen are cool, but I still got my own other life going on.
Maybe
right?
that's where she was irritated with you,
I
Jimmy.
don't know what the hell.
Jimmy.
I don't know what the hell she was going on, but she, Andy, and Sherry, they all went into the spring fling by themselves first, right? And I come sliding up behind, and I see Carrie as she's coming out the spring fling, right?
Oh, no.
Man, look, let me tell you something, man. I had peanut butter and jelly on my tongue at that moment, man, because everything that I came out was smooth. I'm talking about, hello, how are you doing? It is so
my
lovely
gosh.
to see you tonight. I have really been thinking about you. Are you doing well? We are definitely going to have to get together. And look how lovely your hair is tonight. You are just sparkling in this evening air. I just can't begin to
the
tell you how
evening air.
wonderful you look right now. I mean, and it just came out like that. I'm talking about, and her eyes, she was like, ugh, she just lost it, just completely lost. Not I don't mean lost it, but you could tell
She took it.
She was into it.
she took it. She was into it, right? And this is one of the rarest moments where I ever like kind of caught myself. It's like, whoa, where the hell did that come from? I
You were
need to
impressed
bag.
with
I need to
yourself.
bag this shit and write this shit and save it. I didn't know how to go. But how do I get back to this emotional level, right?
Yeah.
Because it was such a powerful feeling of pleasure and romance.
Wait, but where was Karen when you had peanut butter in your mouth?
Karen and Andy and Sherry had already walked in the spring fling. I'm telling you, by the time we had walked from Andy and Sherry's house, by the time we got to spring fling, I guess her and Sherry had been talking, and was getting it out and was getting hotter and hotter because she had to get it out. And by the time we got to the gate, she didn't want to have a damn thing to do with me. She gone, and so like I said, as I was talking about it, I was feeling it, and I caught the feeling and the vibe. But because she and I weren't on the
flowing.
same page, the other portion of it that probably would have been magnanimous because of the way I was feeling, if I had a partner that was on that ride with me, whoa, I can
Yeah.
only imagine what we could have experienced together on that night.
Damn it, Karen. Jimmy, I don't know who to blame here for this.
It was
but
my fault. I take full responsibility. Man, I was young and dumb, man. Going to clubs, dancing and shit.
Have you done ecstasy as an adult?
Yeah, I didn't do ecstasy. The last thing I did was they don't call it ecstasy anymore. What do they call it? now?
Molly?
They call it Molly now.
What?
Yes.
But so Molly and ecstasy are the same thing.
Hell no, they can't be. And from what experience I experienced, no, they cannot be.
I
was
wouldn't know, but I
confused
know
as hell.
ecstasy and Molly are used
I was
interchangeably.
with a beautiful young girl, and neither one of us could figure out how to get to each other. We just sat in the room. She was over there playing on some shit, and I'm sitting on the couch and shit, just fucking around. And it's 3:00 in the morning, and we even took this shit about 2 hours ago, and I could not pull my brain together to figure out how to touch her. I don't know what the hell this shit was that you fucking found and gave us, but this is
You were
not
stuck.
working.
Wait, Natalie, you've done Molly?
No, I never done any of that.
I've never done that either. Have you done ecstasy? Me neither.
It doesn't really. I don't know. It doesn't catch my attention. I only just smoke.
I have
weed
been
and-
curious about the ecstasy thing. I haven't tried it, but I have been curious about it.
Yeah.
I always just worry because what is it, like a pill? It's like a little pill. I have this thing in my head that if it looks like that, I'll probably get a heart attack and die.
Yeah,
I ain't
don't
feel
know.
crazy either and stuff, but I like to experiment a little bit and feel free. I mean, when I was younger, I ain't doing all that shit now.
Yeah, no.
But I put it this way, I'm not gonna say ecstasy or mushrooms if they ever came into my life. Yes, I would do them again. No question, no problem.
So in the duration of your life, would you say that you've done mushrooms more than 10 times in your life?
No,
Really?
only 3.
Only 3 times in your life?
Only 3 times
Was that enough?
so far.
Interesting.
I got them about 6 months ago. When I go to sessions, they're always there. And so I have my little lady friend back in Tucson. We just cool, we casual, nothing serious, but she likes little stuff. And so I got some the last time. Thought I'd bring them back. I was like, hey, you want to have the experience together? And she's like, nah, I don't want to do mushrooms. You're going to mess up my high.
Interesting.
And I'm like, why do you mean that? She said, because when I do mushrooms, I don't like to be touched. I don't want to have any physical contact. I like to go into my zone and do my own thing and not really have to be caught up in having to worry about anybody. I like to have my free space.
Fair.
And so her her trip as far as an experience with mushroom is completely different than mine. Mine was partnered up, and I want to do it with a companion to have the full experience. She don't want to have nothing to do with that. She want to be alone with her girls in the mountain on a rock some fucking where, drifting in thought. So I haven't gotten them, and I don't have a person to do them with, and I ain't doing no mushrooms with no damn guys.
Right.
Let's go jump off a cliff. No, you dumbass. That's not what you're supposed to do.
You know what? I actually did a small dose. I took one whole one, so it was like the little stem and the little.
Yeah.
It's not that great. I was really stressed out, and this was maybe like, when was Lanisha's birthday?
Okay.
Like like 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so we
Missed
had
that invite.
I didn't go.
Oops.
I was just a passenger.
I was in Arizona. I'm being smart ass.
We were going down to San Diego because we had a show out there too, and it was a beautiful drive, the hills and all that. So
Yeah.
Mother Nature comes to life, and then it makes you wonder, like, what the state that we're in day to day, is that real, or
I ask
is
myself
it
that
just-
question every day, actually.
right? Because
What are we doing?
when we did how you said your experience with the stars and you saw them dancing and all that, I had that too, where everything that you see
It's accentuated.
it's accentuated, and it almost makes you think you're living in the wrong realm, you're living in the wrong dimension. I don't know, something like that.
But don't you think sometimes like that, like when you try to expand your own thought processing in your brain, that you're only using a portion of it? So these types of things that we think are actually viable thoughts, we just have to really believe and bring them to life in our actions in our day. The thought processing.
100%. Well said.
I mean, I think like that. You know, I always try to, not that I'm capable of it, but I try to expand my thought processing to open up my mind to a bigger vision of what is in front of me, to try and see if I can hone it in, so to speak, or even more so just be able to kind of be accepting of it if it's different from me or I can't understand it, but still find a way in my thought processing to be acceptant of it because it's here. How can I deny what's here?
Yeah.
You
I
know?
like that how you said that. That was perfect. I think that there's a lot to say about microdosing too, and that's probably why people microdose on mushrooms, taking a little portion, because it helps with everything that you just said, Jimmy, about expanding your horizons and your vision and your thought process, and thinking like, okay, it's not just, you know, this one thought, but how can I go beyond that to understand my reasoning or the reasoning as to why things are whatever that reasonable or not,
Sure.
make sense of something.
I feel like it almost, in a sense, so after the one I did at your house with my brother where you guys made me watch that, they tell a story of a guy who, he's a freelance scientist because he's the one who became passionate about everything. Anyways, he took like a whole bag full of mushrooms,
Yeah.
climbs up to the top of a tree, and I guess he used to stutter before. And he was like, in his trip, was saying, I'm not going to stutter anymore. You're done stuttering. And then like the next day he stopped stuttering. And that was it. He had that moment of awareness.
Yeah.
So after I saw that documentary, of course, your phone listens to everything that you talk about. And on Instagram pops up, welcome to the multiverse. And it's a store where you can go and buy all kinds of mushroom products, like all kinds of different, and not magic mushrooms, so to speak, but just an assortment of. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna try some. So I bought these gummies.
Okay.
They're called Shroomy.
Shroomies.
They're adaptogen mushroom gummies. So it's lion's mane. Is it reishi?
Reishi. Yeah.
And then cordyceps.
Okay.
Okay, so those are the 3 mushrooms that are in these gummies. And so they're for focus, energy, and immunity.
I
Okay,
like that.
so you can take 2 to 4 a day. I take 2 every day, no matter what. After
Nice.
my meditation, I take 2 a day. And then I bought,
Are they pregnancy safe?
I don't know.
I'm gonna
But-
take them.
Yes.
I have a genius ass child coming out of my womb.
Oh God. And then I bought this mushroom latte. Okay, and I take this every day, and so it's for calm focus, mental clarity, enhanced immunity, sustained energy, and brighter skin. Whatever. I had no idea, Because when I started taking it, I was like, nothing's happening.
Yeah.
And I guess in my mind, my immature, like uneducated mind, I was like, oh, how come I'm not tripping out? Well, because there's no magic mushrooms in this, you idiot.
It's
Like,
not
come on.
psilocybin.
Right, this is not what's in there. Well, little do I know.
Sorry.
Look how cute the little mushroom on the bottom of this
that's
can
super
is.
cute.
I'm going to put him in
I
there.
love that.
Apparently, it takes 21 days for this stuff to get into your system for you to start to see something different.
Oh, okay. And you've been taking them for...
I'm going on 90 days now.
Oh, shit. Okay, good for you. So,
No doubt.
what's the verdict?
So I'm a lot calmer.
Yes.
I do feel a lot calmer, and I don't feel overwhelmed by life. I mean, I was very much on a path of feeling overwhelmed every day and burning myself to the ground. I don't feel that way anymore. A lot of pressure has been removed, and I'm making a conscious effort to, like I was saying, like meditate and pray and be still and be in the moment.
I like that.
I've stopped drinking significantly. I used to drink a lot, heavily.
Alcohol?
Yeah.
Wow.
And ironically, I'm drinking now, but usually I would have gone through 4 of these already.
Yeah.
But
I don't like alcohol like that.
I don't. No, I love alcohol. I love to drink. You know.
Yeah.
But now, I was finding myself that I would be in social settings and I would drink, and nothing, it was not. There was one day where I must have had like 4.5 gin and tonics. I should have been perfectly plastered off of that, like just 100%. See, nothing. It was like I hadn't even had one drink.
Oh, okay.
I was unaffected by it.
Yeah.
And that was the first time that I thought, this is strange.
Okay. So you caught yourself a little bit.
I caught myself because I'm like, wait a minute. What usually happens isn't happening.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then I stopped drinking coffee. I used to drink coffee. You used to see me at Starbucks all the time. Mind you, I couldn't even afford to be going to Starbucks, but I was at Starbucks.
Yeah.
So this mushroom latte says it's a latte, but it's not. It's just, mushroom lattes.
But does it have that like?
It does taste like coffee.
Okay.
It does taste like coffee, but I don't drink coffee anymore. So anything that I can't drink Red Bulls. I don't desire any of those things that alter my mood. Anything that alters my mood, I have zero tolerance for. But then also, I feel like I'm starting to see people for the first time.
Good.
It's almost as if something was ripped off in the sense that I had my perception of people. I in my mind, I was experiencing you the way I wanted to experience you, not
Yeah.
even the way you really were with me.
Yeah.
Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I had
see them
these
as they are.
I'm now. So I have these significant relationships in my life, and I'm starting to finally see people for who they are.
Yeah.
Instead of living a place where I was before, where I was in a constant state of justifying people or wishing to believe it was different and living in this false reality. And that's what I would say is probably the biggest shift that I've seen. Because even with
that's great.
it's great. It's huge, actually. It's significant.
Yeah.
Even with my mom, where, she was telling me constantly, like, it's okay. Like, you don't worry about this or don't worry about that. And I'm like, no. My ego was like, I am going to worry about this. And you're not going to tell. And it's like, wow. It's like I'm seeing her for the first time. I'm hearing her. I'm accepting her for the first time. Right? Or people who have taken advantage of me. Where I'm like, oh, it's because this or it's because that or this is what I have to. And I'm finally like, okay. This
You're not
is what
making
it is.
excuses for people anymore.
Yeah. Not having attachments to things. Like actually wanting to focus on myself or wanting myself.
Right. Because now all of these conversations that you're having or all of these narratives that you're playing for people are taking up a lot of space in your mind.
Yeah.
And in your day to day. And it's all time consuming, and that's draining. Because now, like, oh, so and so didn't do this for me. So and so is like that because this and that. And now I have to go fix their lives. And it's my responsibility because if not me, who? And and then the next thing you know, you're like on 2 hours of sleep because you can't get past
So
X, Y, and Z.
And even with my kids, like I have an intentional purpose with them now where, they're older, but now it's like, hey, we have to find a sense of community in it. So it's helped. Needless to say, it says that, there's a lot of benefits for it if you suffer from depression and anxiety. And remember, I was going to see a therapist and then a psychiatrist, and they're like, oh, you need
Yeah.
And I didn't want to take medication.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, if you listen a few episodes back when we had my cousin Noelle, and she recommended to read the book, so I think it's called The Disconnect. I'll find exactly what it is. But it talks about big pharma and antidepressants. I started reading that book.
Yeah.
It's a business, you know, like kind of what Jimmy was saying earlier with the vitamins, the hustle of the vitamin, the hustle of the, or whatever, you know, the case. So just all of these things started to really kind of open up. I've had a lot of sad moments, and I continue to have a lot of sad moments, but this time it's a different type of sad. It's almost like a grieving sadness, like a letting go type of sadness versus a crying or being upset for the sake of being upset and not having what I want.
Yeah.
Now it's more just like, that sucks. Like,
You're mourning
who
you were.
and
Yeah.
that's a lot. Come on, that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
I
And
think,
then not being apologetic for it, right? Like,
No.
I'm not in the best place right now, but I'm not gonna try to hide it anymore. I'm not here to try to.
we're imperfect human beings.
Right.
You know, we've done what we've done. We're continuously growing and improving, and we're doing the best that we can with what we know, and we're only getting better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think a follow-up book after you read that Big Pharma, because we're talking about, you know, letting go and grieving our past selves. I think one of the books that really did it for me was Finding Your North Star. And it talked about one of the big pieces that I took was, you know, it tells you like, hey, you know, you want to find out who you are and what you want to become. And there's a big section throughout the book just talking about the mourning process. Like
It's a big one.
You're grieving yourself. You're going to be upset. You're going to be sad. You're
It's a
going to
big-
be in denial
Yeah.
about who you were and how you acted. But that's growth. So finding your North Star.
it's quite the experience, because there are days where I'm like, damn, like I'm tired of crying. I'm tired of mourning. But then you realize you're mourning a whole life.
Yeah.
You're going through the inventory of your life, and you're saying like, oh damn, I'm sorry, little Ricky. Like, I spent a lot of time thinking about all the bad things I heard growing up being a kid, or hearing all the things that I was told I couldn't do, or not being you know, going through all of that. Your
Yeah.
teenagers, your young adult, and then processing how many times you've been hurt by people
Yeah. Yeah.
and not dealing with any of that hurt. So you just have this like collection of pain. And it's like, all right. But if you don't go through it, if you don't process it, you can't move on to that next part of your life.
Yeah, you're speaking from a whole different place than whereas I, as a man, sitting here listening to this. That's a lot deeper than just words. So I hear you, though.
Yeah.
I hear you,
Mushrooms, huh?
I think it's a happy place.
It is in that sadness. It is a happy place. It's in that melancholy lives joy, lives hope, right?
Yeah.
Lives light.
Yeah. I don't know. Do you think that if you wouldn't have taken mushrooms, you'd still be on the same path?
No. Yes. I'm sorry. Yes. Had I not picked up this routine, 100%,
Yeah.
I would still be on the path of, you know, self-soothing and destructive habits. And when I say destructive, it was the amount that I was drinking was not
Kosher.
at all, because it was just like the habits that I had. It was like, okay, I'm drinking a lot to avoid certain things. Then coming home super late at night because you're working so much, not eating or nourishing my body throughout the day, unless it's with alcohol, and then eating terrible at 2:00 in the morning, which you shouldn't even be doing,
Yeah.
to just wake up and feeling this just pain in your being.
Yeah.
See, that's why I was mentioning earlier about the find a penny, pick it up all day long. You have good
Explain
luck.
that, because
Okay, so like for me, so I totally get life. And what I mean by that is that life is very, very interesting because there's an up, a down, a back, a forth, a side, a left, a right. All of them play a factor in everything and all that we do. So you can't just go through the day without having an up or a down or a left turn or a right turn or a side track or a hook up or a bump or a fail. All these adjectives are daily parts of our lives, right? So, knowing that, before you even wake up, you already know you got all these damn options coming at you during the day. So they're going to come at you left, right, side with all these different angles. If you have a preconceived notion that these are coming, then to me, it's easier to deal with them because you have mental preparation for that. And so for me, I'm a positive guy. I'm so far into my positive thought processing in life because I came from a negative environment. My environment on a day in and day out basis had so much wake up negative energy right there that I had to make a choice. Right then and there, am I going to wallow in this negative energy and let it drag me down? Or am I going to say, forget this, I want to be happy. I don't care what the circumstances is. I'm trying to be happy. Even when it's miserable, I'm still trying to be happy. So when I see dark, I immediately think light. When I see bad, I immediately find good. When I see despair, I immediately find uplift. I can't help it because that's the way I want my life to be. I don't want negative. It's already there. It's a given. I've accepted it. I know it's coming. Cool. I'm prepared for you. But while I'm dealing with this negative, I'm going to pull some positive out of it. So, for instance, with me, when things are down and things are bad and things are just
Going to shit.
fucked up,
Yeah.
soon as it's like that, I immediately step outside of myself and look at the 2-step prints that I just got out and I go, whoa, I'm in a big pile of shit right now. And acknowledge it and accept it and let it be what it is. It's a big pile of shit. It's right there. I can sit here and dwell on it all day long. It ain't going nowhere. So why am I going to dwell on it? Let me accept it, acknowledge it, and then start doing things positively to get myself out of it. First thing I got to do positive is I got to think positively. I can't get out of the negative until I start thinking positive. So I immediately find the positive in the negative. Immediately. And I attach my energy towards that. So that way I can attach that bit of positive energy to the next thing I need to do to get me further out of the hole. I know I got to do this. I know I got to do that. It ain't going to be fun. But hey, I already know what I got to do. I've got an option. Let's go do it. Boom, I got a little bit closer. 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 And then all of a sudden, the next thing you know, the situation that was bad and full of despair, now all of a sudden ain't so hard to deal with.
Yeah.
Because
So, if I may interrupt your just flow right there, because I realized two things. First, I imagine that you're someone that you probably get on a lot of people's nerves because people look at you and like, look at this guy. He's always happy. He's always in good spirits and everything is great for him and all the time. I imagine that that's what the feedback that you get because people envy people that have a good spirit. Like, damn, like,
That are always happy.
meaning they won't say, I wish I was as happy as that guy, but they'll say, damn, why is that guy so fucking happy? Like, what is there, you know what I mean?
The fuck are you happy about?
But I'm
I don't
realizing,
get invited to parties a lot.
but I'm realizing that even in his state, like to accomplish that, that's a lot of work. It's a choice. It's a choice, and it takes work every day, every moment of your day. Like you're saying, every right turn, every bump, it's a choice to have a positive reaction to something, to want to turn something around, to acknowledge something. And I can relate to that because I am, for the most part, I think the majority of my life, my facade has definitely been a positive one,
Yeah,
a happy one, right? Because I don't want to, what's the use in, there's already a bunch of angry people around you. There's already a bunch of negativity. What good is mine going to be if it's the same?
Right. Why you want to contribute to that
Right.
energy?
So, but with that, you do get a lot of backlash from people because people are like, shut up. Like, why are you that happy?
Right.
But I didn't realize that everything that you just described are daily disciplines and choices to want to be that way. And that's a lot of work. And that's why I hope that it illuminates people who have that perception that people are naturally like that. No,
You can choose to think how you want to think.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody, that's the greatest thing about this. We're all individuals. We all have our own choice to do on what we feel is necessary for us to move and maneuver through life. For me, I just can't help it. I want to be happy. I know I'm here for a short window of time, and I don't care what anybody else says. Time goes by fast. Natalie's about to have a baby. She's about to have a baby out of nowhere. And just this time last year,
out of nowhere.
it wasn't even on the radar. It was not on the radar this time last year. And here we are in a whole new path of life for her. And life is like that. So you have to be ready for what it's going to bring to you, because it's not always going to bring the positive. It's bringing the negative. It has to be the negative. You can't get to your positives without going through some negatives. There's not one single human being on earth that doesn't have to deal with the same stuff that you're dealing with. It's just in a different capacity, in a different environment, in a different work field, in a different land, in a different relationship. It does not make a difference. Every single human being has to go through this. This is why that word faith is so big, and we take it for granted and people don't acknowledge it. Look, do you have faith to understand that you got to stay in this positive thought process? You are not put here to be negative. You have to continue to give of yourself for the betterment of others, and have faith as you're walking through this that this is the right choice, and stay positive doing it. If you're negative, where's your faith? Where's your faith? It doesn't get you anywhere. You have to exude positive and good energy, because you want the people around you and your environment to feel that off you, because then you want them to invite you back. But like you said, sometimes it does get to the point to where it drives people crazy and they can't handle it, because most people don't want to do that. Man, you crazy, man. I got to deal with this. I got these bills I got to pay. Man, I ain't got time to be sitting there thinking about no positive shit. Man, I got to figure out a way to make some money.
Right.
But you guys both bring in a like what you were saying earlier. You have a choice, and both are equal disciplines. It takes time to retrain your brain to think more positively, just as it does to think negatively. So why wouldn't you choose the positive, right? So I would challenge all of our listeners, or even here ourselves, right? Because we can go into these holes of catching ourselves when we're speaking about ourselves or others. And what is the narrative? Are we speaking positively? Are we speaking negatively? And try to shift that, because when we go into the negative, now we're going to go into a rabbit hole, and then we're going to have shitty ass lives.
Yes.
Oh, my fucking manager was talking shit. He's going to fire me. And then the next thing you know, oh, my manager did this. We had an awful conversation. Oh, and then my manager, he went and he did
go on and on.
And now, oh, I'm fired. It's all his fault. No, let's stop this.
And I think along with that challenge, we should call this the Jimmy challenge, because one of the interesting things that he also illustrated is how he said, when things are bad, and then it's as if you have an out of body experience where you said you remove yourself and you look at the pile of shit that you're in.
Get out of my shoes, man. Immediately. Hey, look at my shoes standing right over in that shit.
Right. And I think that's actually a really important practice that I personally am definitely going to practice that one, because I think the minute that you do acknowledge it,
you laugh at it. You go, wow, I'm fucked up right now.
yes.
This is a real
Bullshit.
How did I get here? How did I get here?
We do got to laugh at ourselves a little bit. A lot of it.
This is going to be a struggle getting out of it. It's going to be fun, though.
Right. Because that's the first step.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like I said, it's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
It's whether you acknowledge it or not, it's not going anywhere. So you can sit there and wallow in it, or you can get the fuck out of it and look at it and say, you know what? I'm not going to, I may be in a pile of shit, but I'm not standing there in it. I'm going to go over here and do something. I'll come back and get to you in a minute. I know you ain't going nowhere, so fuck it.
But that makes a lot of sense for me right now.
Real simple things in life. That penny, man, is so cool, man, when you're out walking around and you're just living life. You're going to Circle K and going to the store, and you go in and you buy your drink, and you come back out and you're getting in the car, and as you step down the step, you look down on the ground, there's that penny there.
Yeah.
I pick that penny up, immediately put it in my pocket, and immediately my brain goes, so find a penny, pick it up all day long, you have good luck. And I immediately jump right into a smile in my face, because I say that all the time, and I always find these damn pennies, and it's so cool. It's the littlest
It's a little
thing,
affirmation for you.
the little affirmation for me that my energy is right and I'm doing the right thing because God keeps blessing me with these pennies. And there's just a single penny. It could be I got one today. It had green paint all over it. You could
But
barely
those are
tell
your
it's penny.
reminders. You're on the path, and you
Yeah.
got to keep doing what you're doing.
And I see them all the time. That's the thing. I'm looking for them because I'm seeking positive in my life every day. I'm trying to get it everywhere, just like being here with you two right now. Super charged for my day. Look what I get to do with my day, and look whose energy I get to be around. When I found a penny right before I came here.
Life is good.
Yeah.
Life is so good. We just gotta want to see it.
And life is good even when things are tough.
Yeah.
Because it's growth.
Intestinal fortitude, people. Find your intestinal fortitude to make yourself work through the things that seem difficult. Dig deeper inside your spirit and souls. Like we were talking about your brain. You only use a small percentage of your brain. Trust yourself to think deeper and go for it and put yourself in a situation where you've got to mentally open up your mind and challenge yourself. You will be surprised at what you can accomplish when you start really believing in yourself. Don't trust nobody else. Trust you first.
I love that. That was it.
Damn.
That was it.
Are you on mushrooms right
Ding, ding, ding.
That was great, Jimmy. Thank you for all
My
of that.
pleasure.
That was
My
a
pleasure.
great
Thank
gem.
you for having me. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
That was beautiful.
now? Got to have you back.
Yeah. I have nothing left to say. Like that was anyway. Well, Jimmy, yeah, seriously, thank you for being here and on such short notice.
Muy bien, gracias, señoritas.
Yeah, do your research, guys. Everyone listening, we've had our mushroom experiences. We did our research. Whatever you're putting in your bodies, research it. Ask some people. If you're getting these, don't get mushrooms from random people. Get them
smart.
from a good source. But yeah, be smart.
Be smart.
Be smart, for sure. When we end these things, I like to give recommendations. Definitely fantastic fungi. Fantastic fungi.
Fungi.
No,
Netflix.
no. Not on this show. No.
Not on his watch.
Fantastic fungi on Netflix. And then Explained has a series of The Mind where they talk about psychedelics. You can find that on Netflix as well. Season 2, episode 5.
I'm going to watch that because I haven't seen it.
It's great. Narrated by Emma Stone, actually. So
Emma.
I like Emma Stone. And so as we wrap up, I wanted to kind of give a little bit of a shout out here before the month ends. I wanted to share the top countries as well as the top 5 episodes for this quarter because we've just been kicking so much ass.
It's so amazing.
I just want to give us like a huge hug and like high fives and props because we're amazing and we wouldn't be this amazing without all of our listeners.
Right, because like Bartley says, this is with like zero promotion, zero marketing. We don't have a budget for any of that. That's why it shocks me when they're like, we're about to hit 5,000 episodes. What?
Organic as fuck.
Yeah.
Just
we should make a shirt.
beautiful.
Organic AF.
Yes, we are. So, our top 5 episodes this quarter were Money is Emotional with guest Michael Moda, Fatherhood with Raymond Andrew, Being a Young Mom, a Gen Z Story, Life After Divorce with guest Marlene Zuniga, A Pandemic View from the Eyes of Gen Z, and I'm just going to throw this one out here because I love this episode too. Letters to Ourselves.
That was a good one.
I'm just gonna say 2 of those episodes didn't have Ricky in them, so maybe.
Oh, thanks.
Oh, shit.
I was absent. I'm present now.
Maybe that's the formula.
Are you kicking me out, Bartley?
Sorry, the people have... No, all jokes. So thank you guys for, listening. And if you resonated with any of these episodes, make sure you share them, download them, and give us a rating, The top countries for first quarter. You guys ready? Because it's a long list, but it's a great one. So, of course, the United States, Nigeria, Hungary, the Netherlands, Canada, United Kingdom, Mexico, the Czech Republic, Curaçao,
Good job. Good job.
Egypt, Italy, Australia, Germany, Spain, Iran, Malaysia, New Zealand, Puerto Rico, Ukraine, Azerbaijan.
Good. That's not bad. Azerbaijan.
Thank you, Bartley.
What?
Bangladesh, Bulgaria, Brazil, Switzerland, Denmark, Estonia, Ireland, India, Portugal, Romania, Saudi Arabia, Sweden, Tunisia, Turkey, and South Africa.
Damn.
You guys freaking rock. But I want to mention that last week we had a country join us that came up as CW. So we searched the web to find what country and how to say it. Here's what we found. So CW is actually Curacao, where I kind of paused. But we found this little snippet.
Cucaracho? I don't. Cucaracha.
Curacio.
Curaco?
Curacao. Curacao. Great orange liqueur coming from the country of Curacao itself. You can't screw up the name too much, and you also can't make a Mai Tai without one.
Cucaracho?
So how do you say it, Ricky?
I like the Curacao.
The first time that I said it, I said Curacao. Like all confident too. Curacao.
Isn't Curacao like a furniture store too?
It is a furniture store here in the Inland Empire, or just maybe Southern California.
So
but
how do you pronounce it, Ricky?
Curacao.
Curacao. Curacao.
Yes.
Curacao.
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 Shout out
Do you-
to Curacao.
Little trivia for you, Ricky. Which former Dodger player was born in Curacao?
God dang it, Bartley.
Fernando Valenzuela.
No.
Damn.
Okay.
I wouldn't know.
He is the all-time save leader of the Dodgers.
Save?
Saves, yeah.
Hold on a second. Hang on a second. Let me go on my memory.
Don't have to go too far. He's recent.
Yeah, I know. It's not Kinley. So,
I have no idea,
Jesus
Bartley.
Christ.
Give
he
me a
just
clue. Give
retired
me another
a few
clue.
years ago.
He retired? He's retired, Bartley?
No, he's current.
He's still current?
No longer on the Dodgers, but he's
Nah.
still current.
Who is he?
It was Kenley.
Oh, you were right.
It was Kinley, huh?
Mm-hmm.
You were right.
He's from Curacao, huh?
Correct.
No kidding. Is he really?
Yes, he is. I love this button. I'm going to keep using it.
That was really weird last week watching him save a game for the Braves against us. That was
against the Dodgers.
really weird.
His kids came out. On the field. Yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah, very different.
It was strange. But here we are.
Go Dodger Blue.
Yeah.
Woo woo.
Eh,
Did he just say eh?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
gosh.
he doesn't like the Dodgers?
no, hell
I'm
no.
indifferent. So.
Oh, you don't know?
What team is he like?
Giants, baby.
Oh, all right. I'm cool. I ain't mad at you. I'm from Northern Cal. I got some Giant love when the Dodgers aren't winning.
Got you. All right.
All right. Well, no, thank you for that additional commentary, guys. I needed that Curacao trivia. Thank you all for kittens.
Meow. You're pregnant. That's okay.
Thank you, kittens, for enjoying our content, downloading it, and sharing it with your friends and family. Make sure to leave us a review on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. You can also support us by donating some coffee. Go to buymeacoffee.com/on this frequency. Meow, 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 meow.
We should do it. Buy me some mushrooms.
This was fun. This
Yes.
was very fun.
Thank you
Anyways,
so much.
yes, this week's episode is brought to you by Rose City Sound with executive producer Big Brother Jake from the Big Brother Jake podcast, produced and edited by Juicebox Bartley. Keep in touch and send us your topic ideas at onthisfrequency@gmail.com. Bye, y'all.
Increase the peace.
Shout out
West
to Curacao.
West
Curacao.
Coast.
Hey.
West Coast. the most.
I like this, Bartley.
You're welcome.